Hi everyone and welcome to Monetisation May. This is training 4. We're on week 2 and we are chatting all about publishing this week. So if you skipped to here because you thought, well, I don't see how learning about writing is going to help me monetize my author brand, then I encourage you to go back and watch the first 3 videos, because I promise you that if you cannot actually write a good book, you are going to struggle to actually sell your book later on. And I talked all about my experience with that in the first video, so go ahead and go back and watch it, and I promise you that you will learn good stuff about writing your book anyway that is just going to serve you so much more in your growth of, becoming a better author. So I highly recommend it. Okay, so let's talk about why publishing is so freaking important. Other than the fact that it is how we get our book out there, I tend to use the terms publishing and launching kind of interchangeably because I kind of see it as the same thing. I know that they are different things, they have different steps, but the way that I teach them in my courses and programs, they overlap. So in my head, I think about them as the same thing. And I think that is what makes my course such a great thing, is because it can be really tricky to look at publishing and to look at launching and go, how does this work together? When I teach it and it does work together, it really helps you to actually get a launch foundation and strategy down. And that's going to serve you so much on your author journey, because launching is the bread and butter of how you're going to make book sales. Launching is how you're going to get that big cash injection if you master launching, if you do it correctly, and if you keep up the momentum of getting a book out regularly, it's going to bring in that income that's going to help you to be able to keep doing it, right? And so this is your foundation. This is your main source of income, and you don't want to fuck with your main source of income, okay? You definitely want to make sure that you are doing launches well, that you are getting the support that you need to figure out how to launch properly, because if you can't get past launching, you're not going to get to marketing, you're not going to get to scaling. And that's where you'll actually be able to go full-time in authorship, which is ultimately what most of us authors really want to do. So that is just my little spiel on that. Now, as for the topic of today's video, we are chatting all about what I have found most challenging about marketing my secret pen name. So if you do not know, if you've been hiding under a rock, because I've been talking about it all throughout the first 3 videos, I'm working on a book under a secret pen name. I haven't revealed anything about it other than that I'm doing it. I won't be revealing anything about it till next year, but the basis is that I've been working on a secret book, I've been marketing a secret pen name, and there's been some challenges. So I'm going to talk to you today about what those have been, and it's going to be really juicy for you guys. Okay, so the first thing I want to preface is that, when I first started out in authorship for my main author brand, the P.S. Malcolm brand, this was when was this? This was back in 2015, and I think that was the first year I properly got on social media and started doing social media, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I really had no clue. I was kind of just throwing things at the wall, hoping they would work. What I know now in comparison is just so much more and so much better. So I have total and complete confidence in my strategy. I know what I've got to do. I know it's going to work. It's what I teach my clients. It's what I support my clients with. It's what I see working time and time again. So I know without a doubt, this is the strategy that I need to be working. And so it's not the strategy that's coming up as a challenge, right? What's interesting is that it's a mindset problem that's coming up with a challenge. And this is what I see so often with my clients, especially when I jump on a free call with someone and they say, oh, I've been trying all these things and I don't know what's not working. Sometimes it is a strategy thing. Sometimes they're missing something. I mean, it could be that end mindset. But oftentimes I see people kind of chasing all these different things, thinking they have to do more and more to get the book sale, when the truth is that it's their mindset that's actually sabotaging them. And so I want to give you an example of how my mindset has been sabotaging me a little bit. So here's what has actually been holding me back. I want to say it's right. It's me trusting that it's working, right? It's me having faith that my strategy is working, because I know it works, because I've done it a million times. The thing is, I still get tripped up, and especially because it's a new pen name, right? So with this pen name, it's not like my P.S. Malcolm brand, which I've been growing for how many years now? Over 5 years now, right? And have gotten to a certain amount of followers, and honestly, I don't really pay attention to the followers, because I know that followers don't equal book sales. But it's at a point where I've got a certain amount of followers. I don't really notice if it goes up and down. I don't really, I get a certain amount of likes, and I always do. So I don't really notice if I don't get that many likes, right? And so it's really not something that I notice. But when I started with this new pen name, what I noticed starting out is that I was getting like 0 to no engagement. I was getting very little follower growth. Like maybe once a week I'd get a new follower. It's very slow, right? And honestly, I had a few moments of panic around, oh my God, is my strategy working? Am I missing something? Do I need to try something else? And that's all completely normal. That is totally normal to feel when you're starting out. And I think that's so helpful to hear, because I think that's what a lot of authors panic around when they're starting out. They think, oh my gosh, I'm not getting the results I want. I don't know why it's not working. And I want to give you some context here, right? So I started my marketing back in January, and I went properly throughout January, consistently and regularly, and like got the results I expected to get out of that. I stopped in February and I stopped in March to focus on my book. I still did some marketing, but it wasn't anywhere near as consistent. So it's no surprise that I'm at April and starting to feel a little panicky around not seeing the results I thought I'd have by now, because I didn't actually do the work, right? And so it's really important to remember that when you do the work, you do see results, but you have to actually show up for it. And you can't let yourself get distracted by shiny object syndrome or pivoting because you think it's not working properly, right? The truth is that you have to work something on at least 90 days before you're going to start seeing results. And if you're not doing it every day or doing it consistently, then of course you're not going to see results. And I see this all the time when I have clients jump on a call with me and they go, I'm doing all this stuff. And I say, how often are you doing it? And they say, oh, I've been doing it fairly regularly. And I say, well, have you been doing it every day? And they kind of go, no. And I go, so if you were to add up all the days, how much have you actually done it? And they go, you know what? I think it's only been like 10 or 20 days that I've been doing it. Duh. Obviously, it's not working. Obviously, no, it's not that it's not working. Obviously, you're not seeing results, right? Because you're not doing it frequently enough and you're not doing it consistently enough. If you go back and you do your strategy for 90 days consistently, and then you come to me and say, okay, it's not working, that's when we know that it might actually be a strategy problem, right? If it's not that and you see results, then it's a mindset problem, because your mindset is tripping you up, forcing you to get distracted or forcing you to think, oh my gosh, it's not working, I need to try something else, right? When all we really need to do is trust that it's working and keep doing the thing. Because when we stop doing the thing, that's when it stops working, because people are no longer seeing what you're doing. People are no longer, able to engage with you and follow you. And so I just want to give you some helpful reminders here as well on things that have helped me to stay rooted in this process, right? So first of all, it's normal to have no followers starting out. Totally normal, and it's not the end of the world. Followers don't equal sales, right? If I were to look at my followers right now and go, oh my gosh, like there's not enough here to have a 10K book launch or whatever it was I was aiming for, then, that would be the wrong way to look at it anyway, because it's not about the number of followers. It's about getting the right people to be seeing my stuff. And that doesn't mean they have to follow me. That might mean that they're seeing it from someone else's platform, right? That's the point of me showing up, is to get awareness for my book and to get it into the hands of the right people. And it doesn't matter how that happens, but if I start focusing on, oh my gosh, I need more followers, or I can't get the result I'm after, then I'm going to take all the wrong marketing actions, because I'm going to be so focused on how do I grow followers, not how do I get my book seen and heard about by the right people and into the hands of the right people, right? Totally different things to be focusing on. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's totally normal to feel like no one's listening in the beginning, because this is definitely something I noticed. I was like posting, and like sometimes I'd get comments and sometimes I wouldn't, and sometimes I'd get comments if I engaged first and sometimes I wouldn't, and I was in this bit of mindset around like, is anyone actually seeing this? The thing I had to remember is that yes, people are seeing it, and I had a flashback to when I had my P.S. Malcolm brand in the beginning, and I was thinking about how it often felt that way in the beginning, and I'd actually forgotten, right? Because the truth is that one day everything kind of just flipped, and suddenly I was getting all kinds of engagement, and it kind of just happened when I started to get really consistent, right? And so I know that consistency is key to getting that to keep like getting better, right? In the beginning, I know it's really discouraging to be putting out great content and thinking, oh my gosh, is anyone actually seeing this? what's the point? Should I keep doing it? Yes, keep doing it, because here's the thing. Lurkers are real, right? And you never know who's actually seeing it and who's actually looking at it. And I am one of those people who lurk and don't like content and don't share content, but I see it and I consume it and I remember it. And then you never know, I might come out one day and buy your thing, right? And you'd be like, where did this person come from? They're not following me. It doesn't matter, right? As long as you're showing up and you're putting the stuff out there, who cares if you only get 1 or 2 likes? Because people are seeing it. If you're doing the strategy right and you know what action steps you need to take to get the result, then you can have absolute confidence and faith that your actions are paying off regardless of how many likes you get, regardless of how many followers you have, because people are seeing it, right? So that is the second thing to remember. And then the third thing to remember is, like I just said, like, you can't do something 10 times and expect it to work. And so, like I said, about February and March, it's no surprise that I'm not where I wanted to be, and that's okay. I can't expect me to get the results that I wanted because I only showed up for about 4 weeks, right? And maybe 5 or 6 if you count the stuff in between. But really, I haven't been showing up as consistently as I wanted to be, but I know that I can change that now. Now that I've finished writing the book, that has been my focus, and I have seen the results that I wanted from doing that already, right? And so you want to make sure that you don't get really stuck in these like fear-based thoughts or these scarcity-based thoughts, right? And that you really get rooted in your faith. And this also comes from just really understanding how you launch a book and how you move people through a sales process so that you can trust that the actions you're taking are correct and that they are going to work, because you know how they work and you know how they're going to pay off and you've seen it happen, right? And so that is really, really helpful as well. But it can be really difficult when you're in it. And I'm saying this as someone who has launched 7 books and as someone who works with clients on the daily to help them publish books, and I still had these things come up for me. And I know what I'm seeing and like what my brain's telling me, so I know how to recognize when these things come up. But when you're in it and you're kind of new to authorship and you don't have as much confidence in your marketing strategy, it can be so easy to panic and go, oh my gosh, I need to do something different, right? And that's definitely not what you actually have to do. And so I hope that this video helps you to realize that and helps you to keep this in mind. But I also want you to know that it's totally normal if these thoughts do come up. You don't need to beat yourself up over it. But it is something to look at if you find that it's coming up all the time and you find that you're doubting yourself, you find that you're kind of not showing up anymore because that doubt is stopping you from showing up, or you kind of drop off every now and then, you can't stay consistent. If you need help implementing because your mindset is sabotaging you, or maybe something else is sabotaging you, that is the perfect sort of opportunity to get some support around that. And it's the perfect way that I could help you, right? Because that is what we focus on in my intensives. Specifically, my marketing and messaging intensives, we focus on getting you visible, building out your sales process, getting you really clear on who your ideal reader is, and just making sure that you can actually build a habit to show up, to put out great content, to make sure you understand what you're doing and get you really sold on what you're doing, right? So that you can actually keep doing it and you don't have all these doubts come up. So it's partly mindset and it's partly strategy, right? And that's the thing, is that so many people go looking for strategy thinking, well, I must need to do a newsletter, I must need to do ads, and I must need to post to Facebook. That's not what it is, right? Especially when it comes to launching, which is a really long-term strategy, right? It's not about what you do, it's about where that moves your customer on the buying journey. And if you're at the beginning of a launch like me, what you want to be focusing on is stuff that's going to bring in readership and get you known and discovered. So if you're focusing on, oh my God, I need to have more followers so I can get more book sales, you're totally focusing on the wrong thing. And this is why understanding the strategy is really important, but it's also why you absolutely want to get some support around this if you really want to master book launching, if you want to monetize your brand, if you want to be able to do this regularly, and you want to be able to, just take authorship really seriously. If this is something that you're struggling with, then I 100% recommend that you reach out to me and you let me know what's going on, and we can talk about what is the best way that I can support you with that. So that is basically all I wanted to kind of talk about today. I kind of just wanted to walk you through what was going on for me, especially as someone starting from scratch again, and just some of the feelings that came up for me as a new author. And I'm sure that there are plenty of you who are going through that too, who can self-identify with that and recognize exactly what I just went through because you've probably gone through it too. And I want you to know that it's absolutely normal and fine. And the key to you succeeding in this is understanding that if you can get behind your strategy and you know what you're doing, then you don't have to worry about the strategy being off. That's not to say that, like, you may have pieces of your strategy off, so to make sure you know what you've got to do, right? But once you know what you're doing and you know that you've got the whole strategy, know that it's just about having faith that it's working, and you keep working the pieces until they work really well. That is all you really have to do. And so that is everything I wanted to say today. Yeah, that was everything I wanted to say. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Let me know if this resonated down below. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions about it. Let me know if the, I don't know, if you have anything you want to add about what I just said. And I will chat to you guys in the next training. It's another publishing-based training, and I have some really juicy stuff to share with you. So we're going to get into that next, and I will chat to you guys in that training. Okay, bye.